Welcome back to Drop a Line, everybody. It's your host, Alec. I am so glad you have decided to drop by this evening. We have our second official guest from Twitch.com. I am so excited to speak with another very talented Twitch streamer. This is Drop a Line. And we are live with Kaz. Kaz, how are you this evening?
Hey, Alec, I'm doing great, actually. It's actually morning over here.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Where are you? I actually don't know. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining all the way from the Philippines, but I operate on American time.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you for joining us. It's an honor to have you, my friend. I see that Instagram is decided to kick you off, so let's go ahead and try to get you back on there if we can.
Yeah, that's I think it's my fault. I had to scan something on my phone.
That's all right. It happens. So we'll go ahead and send you that request again.
Perfect.
And I can hear our Instagram now, so I just muted my computer again. How are you? Can you hear me well?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfectly. Perfect. Thank you. Well, Kaz, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you? How are you doing over there?
Doing great. It's actually the Chinese New Year holiday over there, so I have no work, and it's giving me time to relax and prepare for today.
Wonderful. Yeah, that great stroke of luck there. Well, we're very happy to have you. Drop a line. We haven't spoken quite as much as I have with other guests who have come on the show, so I just want to introduce you to the program. Drop a Line is an all-inclusive artistic chat show that welcomes authors and poets and gamers and artists and Twitch streamers. You know, Wobbleline, your affiliate, who was an old high school friend of mine, has been a long-time guest on the show, and he I'm aware that he recommended it to you. Thank you again for that, Wobbleline. And Twitch streaming and gaming is something we have talked about on the show before, so we're very, very excited to have you. So, Kaz, for those who don't know you, would you like to say a word about who you are and what it is you do?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Kaz. I am a variety streamer. I like to play a lot of video games on Twitch. And on weekends, I usually play Final Fantasy XIV with Waba, as you've mentioned, Wobbleline. We, as part of his raid group.
That's amazing. And what is a raid group? That's a fun topic.
Sure. For raid groups, basically in games like Final Fantasy XIV, we have what's called end game raids. It's very difficult. The higher challenge stuff that we usually tackle, and it more often than not requires more coordination than you would get from random matchmaking. So what Wobbleline did was he spread the word out and eventually reached me, and I decided to join his group. So we go on a regular schedule every Friday and Saturday at around 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, and we just scream at each other while dying to various things with six other people.
That's awesome, because I get in the habit. I happen to be a fiction author myself, and I try to, I make it a point to get some private time to do my work so that I can really focus on the blank page that I'm typing on. So I do all of my screaming to my apartment walls. So it's cool to be able to do that in a room full of people who are there for a common purpose. You know what I mean?
Yes. And that common purpose sometimes also shifts into some hilarity because we have our own set of in-jokes. Like, even though the boss is already trying to kill us, we also try to kill each other for fun.
For fun. Why not try to kill each other? It's all good fun. So just so everybody is aware, we are streaming on Facebook at Alec Pangia Author and at One True Promotion. We are streaming on YouTube at One True Promotion. We are streaming on Twitch at One True Promotion. Please hit that subscribe button. We are also streaming on Instagram. Hey, Instagram. Hey, Justin. Hey, Kadar. Thank you for joining us. All great people. They've all been on the show. It's been a wonderful time. So, Kaz, I think for those who might be tuning in who really might not be familiar let me start over. Some people tuning in might not be familiar with what Twitch is and what game streaming is. They might not be familiar with the game Final Fantasy 14. Do you want to give us a quick overview of what the game entails and then what streaming on Twitch entails?
Sure, happy to. Final Fantasy XIV is a online Japanese role-playing game made by Square Enix, where you connect to a world with a whole bunch of other players and you explore the world that Square Enix has created. It's a game that has been running for almost 10 years, if I recall, on the current continuity. It kind of had a restart. And it's actually a pretty fun game. You have choices to be able to enjoy the game both by yourself and also with other people. A lot of interactions are left up to choice. And if you want to, in the case of myself and Wobbleline, there are also very challenging fights that can grant great rewards that we usually do on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Very, very, very well said. And so now take me into the world of Twitch. What exactly is game streaming, and how does Twitch really lend itself to this particular gaming experience?
Good question. For Twitch streaming, it's usually just, at least as a game streamer, the whole idea is that you are sharing your perspective on a game live. You pick a game. You're pretty much in most cases you're going in completely unaware of what the game has in store for you, and there are people who are there to enjoy your reactions. In some cases, as I've found out, some people cannot play these games, whether by technical limitations or they just don't find themselves brave enough for, in the case of horror games, and so they like to see others. They like to see how the game plays through someone else's perspective, and Twitch has been so far the strongest platform for that, or rather the most consistent platform for that, where there are a lot of streamers, a lot of big names and big streamers that I've actually followed from YouTube and then followed on Twitch.
That was a great description, and I love you use the key word there. In my view, the key word is consistent. Twitch is a consistent gaming platform where the people who start their small, business ventures there, they can count on a consistent platform, a platform that is still going, is going to be going for years, and really an experience that they can hop on and really, add themselves to, something that's not going to go under next year or the year after that, something that is just an ever-growing community with a lot of sub-communities in it that pretty much, as far as I understand, I'm not a Twitch streamer myself, but as far as I understand, pretty much anybody can fit themselves into the community and can find, sort of their niche, as it were.
Yes, that's actually right. Despite the fact that I said that I'm primarily a gaming streamer, Twitch has slowly grown to a point where it's integrated a lot of other content creators online. For example, I have some people I follow that stream themselves writing out chapters of fan fiction or their own personal works. I've seen people just doing live cooking shows on Twitch. The artist Shadadi, who made my channel banner, the one that you shared on Instagram, she streams regularly every week on Twitch herself with her partner Corey. They both stream their perspectives on doing art and stuff, and it eventually inspired me to start also doing that. Not quite as often as gaming, but it does allow me to venture out on other things when I just don't feel like picking up a controller.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that happens because, video games are fun, but boy, can you burn out. That's something I forgot before I got back into gaming recently. I was like, oh boy, my eyes. The TV is all the way on the other side of the room, and yet my eyes are just burning right now. I need sunlight. What's going on?
Exactly, and it sucks because especially in my case where I have I already have bad enough vision, but I may have made it worse with my mild video game addiction growing up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Same here. Well, this is awesome. You've given a great introduction into what Twitch is and what the game is and what it is that you do. But now I would really love to hear about you personally. So you are a streamer on Twitch. You don't exclusively do games. You have many facets that you operate out of. So kind of, if you could take us back, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what would you say is your primary um, passion or objective, and how did you get started with it?
Hmm. Well, it's actually been a kind of a roller coaster since
Mhm.
I started. Because originally, when I started streaming, like I have always had a sort of passive interest in streaming video games, in well, streaming in general. But due to internet limitations here in the Philippines, as well as me not having a strong enough rig at the time, I was unable to actually stream. But when I eventually branched out on my own, because I originally streamed as part of a group and then went solo, I invested a bit more into getting better internet and to slowly but surely upgrade my PC. And so I've been streaming now for a year and a half. Um, it was kind of a rough ride because basically when I went solo, I was starting completely from zero. The circumstances which I left my group weren't exactly the most ideal, so that's why I was pretty much a nobody when I started over again. But with the support of people like Wabaline, and also he's also mentioned this, a friend of ours, Zyros, who has pushed us and has supported us with his own community as well. We've all managed to help each other grow together. We've managed to find our footing together and slowly build up those numbers together.
Amazing, amazing. So what so you touched a little bit upon the challenges that you had to get through, and that's awesome. I love when we get to talk about that. First, though, I'd like to ask you, what were some of the highlights of getting started on game streaming? Are there any memorable stories? Are there any moments that were significant or joyful, or perhaps the opposite, that you enjoy sharing? But yeah,
I have quite a few stories from when I started out
that's
that
awesome.
are very interesting. One of them was I actually spent an entire stream muted.
Oh, I've been there.
I I went live. I went and then I took a quick bathroom break to go to the restroom, and I muted myself. Totally forgot to unmute myself. So for a good 2 hours, the game and myself were silent, and so you could just see this weird guy with a small camera on the lower right, just flailing his arms and screaming at everything happening in game, but not knowing exactly what was happening. And because I was still starting out and not a lot of people were chatty in my chat room at that time, I had no idea.
Oh man, oh man, that would have been mortifying for me. You know what I mean? I'm sure you handled it with considerable grace compared to, I feel like after that I would have just closed the computer, went to my room, and just, I don't know, probably just screamed into a pillow or something.
Oh yeah, that's happened. I've yelled in my group chat with my close circle of friends about it a few times out of frustration. So
Mm,
it's just all it came down to was me just having to hammer it into my head. Uh, always check your streaming program, your broadcasting software, if like you're live or if you're muted or unmuted, and it always helps to have someone there to remind you. In my case, I have a very amazing mod by the name of Autumn. She will remind me when things like my game audio is too low or too loud, my mic is too soft or too loud, or there's no sound at all, or if I'm coincidentally still on the BRB screen on my stream.
mhm. Andrew is here with us tonight. He is the co-founder of One True Promotion, which produces this show. Drop a line, Andrew. Thank you for being here with us behind the scenes. Andrew is that
Hello.
for myself and for the talent who comes on Drop a Line. He actually has been messaging us tonight in the private chat, letting us know if the audio is off. Which the last text we got is that the audio is good. But it really is important and a blessing, really, to have supportive people in the community, isn't it?
Yes, it is always a blessing to me uh, to have people push you to keep doing that because um, honestly, if it weren't for the support of my friends at first and eventually the support of my community, I would not be where I am today. I would not still be streaming. I would not be confident in. I would not be more confident in being who I am, both on and off camera.
Mhm. So, am I wrong to assume that for you, game streaming, in addition to being exceptionally entertaining, is a form of self-expression?
Yes, I would say it's. I would question about the entertaining bit. Just kidding, but like, for the it is some way to kind of release, because the thing I love about gaming streaming is that it's always good to find other people who can enjoy the game with you. Sometimes it's one thing to enjoy the game by yourself, but when you share that experience with other people, it just becomes something more than that.
Hmm. I was having a conversation earlier today with a friend about how many people in the current and very unfortunate global situation we're all in are just feeling just so isolated and are having a difficult time being isolated and being confined and not having the kind of community that they were accustomed to before. And heck, I've been one of those people as well, although I've come up with various ways in which I cope. But my question for you is, what do you think is the importance of gaming communities and the Twitch streaming community in a time like this?
That's a good question. Let me start with the gaming community, because like, of course, it being the world being the way it is now, um, we have a lot more time indoors. We have no choice but to spend more time indoors, and sometimes, or rather, because of that, a lot of us feel a bit more isolated. We are unable to connect with friends and family like we used to. Faces that we used to see almost every week or every other day, we don't see anymore. And the only other way to do that would be, in some cases, online through video games. So having that interaction with other communities, sharing an interest and a passion for these games, uh, has helped me stay sane, because it goes to show that like I'm not alone. I'm not just enjoying these games for myself. But there are other people who like to discuss these things at length, and sometimes they can even provide very interesting perspectives on these games that make the game even more enjoyable. For the Twitch community, for that one is a bit more. That's also a bit. It's helpful in the sense that when you have other people who are in the same boat as you, who simply want to grow, but they want to just be friends with you, and having that community grow on Twitch with a whole bunch of other streamers, you are pretty much you're in a good place where you find other people that are entertainers themselves, but they find you entertaining enough to recommend to their viewers. So knowing that you have earned their you've earned their quote unquote approval of being entertaining enough, is actually something that can really help boost a content creator's confidence.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And I think it's remarkable that you have managed to really grow your community and that you share a community with Wobbleline, and that you and Wobbleline, in the midst of the raids that you perform, are sharing kind of a network of gaming community support with, what would you say, up to 6 people who join at a time?
Eight. It's
8.
us two plus 6 others.
Right. There you go. See, I can't do math. Yes, it really is. It's amazing. Like, you figure you have 8 players in one place. They all have their own gaming communities. And so you have just kind of this wonderful community spot that just brings, could bring 8 different communities together. And yeah, like, how does it, so I've asked this question to Wobbleline before when he's been on the show. He was walking me through how his followers were growing. So you have your following. You make guest appearances for the people who follow Wobbleline, and then all together, the 8 of you kind of kind of mix and mingle your supporters. Like, you want to tell us a little bit about the process of? Well, actually, you already did. How has it affected you to be part of just like a community that has grown to this extent? That's what I was looking for.
Well, that's actually kind of a long story. I'll try to keep it brief. But basically, when I was streaming from another group, I never really thought much about connecting with other streamers, other communities. At that time, I was more focused on sharing our group, and I was more focused on our goals as a group rather than legitimately connecting with these people. When I went solo, I learned that by connecting with these people, you end up not just expanding your reach as a content creator, you're expanding your circle of friends. And that was something that surprised me. Uh, that surprised me in the year and a half that I've been streaming, because I connected with Zyrus's community. Through Zyrus, I was able to meet Wobbleline. Through Wobbleline, I was able to interact more with people like Shadadi and Corey, and also a good friend of ours, also a raider, Iggy. I've managed to meet so many amazing people online that I never thought I could meet in the time that I've been streaming. And the irony in that is that this was something I didn't do when I was part of the group, and this was something that my leader was that the leader of said group had been pushing me to do, but I just didn't do. And now that I'm by myself and I've actually had the experience to do this myself, I can now see that, like, okay, there was some merit to that, and I'm so I'm so happy of what I've been able to achieve, but I'm also happy for what others have been able to achieve. And the fact that we can all share this together and help each other grow from that is what makes this community, or rather, all of our communities, interconnected and strong.
Very well said. And on that note, I would love to welcome you officially to the Drop a Line community, because Drop a Line, the show you are on now, has a very similar story. When I started the show, it was right at the offset of Andrew and I choosing to form One True Promotion, initially to further our own careers as a pair of authors. But then, it very quickly started to draw in more people, and it just became not only this vessel through which we would try to help other people gain promotion along with us, increase promotion rather. But just like you said, it became a vessel through which we just started making connections and started making friends. Now all of these people, that some of which I've literally met through this show, are just kind of hanging out on Instagram and Facebook, talking about each other's book releases and talking about weird, wild stories about things that happened while you were writing and all of that stuff. And just to connect it back to what we were saying about us being forced to spend time indoors, this really is a very legitimate platform for people to communicate and share experiences and just kind of be friendly with each other.
Exactly. And actually, another thing that I don't think I mentioned was that, or I didn't touch on too much, was that actually when you connect with these communities, not only do you find common interests, you can actually find new interests as well. I've mentioned that by interacting with people like Shadadi, with Iggy, with Sena, who's another artist, an amazing artist that's contributed a lot to my channel, and also even my own mod, Autumn, I've learned to take up interests that I used to have but put down for a long time, mostly because of commitments to other obligations. But I eventually learned to retake up some of my old passions, such as art. Even though the channel banner isn't mine, most of my emotes and also my current profile picture on Discord and on Twitter are actually my own hand. And even Autumn has inspired me to start writing again. I've started to develop more of my character's backstory in the world of Final Fantasy XIV, and I've been expanding her backstory through a few written chapters.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. That's amazing to hear. This has been a great interview so far. I'm so happy you joined us this evening. I would like to take a minute to thank everybody who was watching. I see the Lighthouse International Film Festival. Old friends of mine are watching tonight. Thank you for watching on Instagram. Ime is here. Thank you, Ime. I see on Twitch we have Wobbleime joining us. He says Kaz and Alec in all caps. And we also have Lark. Thank you for joining us, Lark, and watching the show. It is great to see you. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe to One True Promotion while you are here. Kaz, you have been a fantastic guest so far, and I really want to make sure that we give you optimal promotion while you are here. And also, I have to lose my train of thought at least one time every show because it's just become a tradition at this point because I'm so unscripted. But whenever this happens, I like to ask you, do you have any questions for me or do you have any questions or comments for the audience?
Questions or comments? Not many questions. I'm not. I don't always ask questions, but I do feel for you about the whole losing your train of thought thing. But hey, some say the things that are unscripted are usually the best moments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. Thank you. I needed that validation this evening. That's awesome. Or yay, by you. Um, so we have, let me reframe that question though. Is there anything that we haven't touched upon yet in regards to what you do and just things about the experience that you would like to share or get across? I feel like we've touched upon a lot, but I just want to make sure there's nothing I kind of jumped over. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's a good question. You did mention something earlier about like comments on people becoming streamers, whether as a gaming streamer or Twitch streamer. So I just want to quickly share on.
I think my video dropped.
There you go.
Am I
There
back?
you go. Yep. Yep, I hear you loud and clear. Very good.
All right. So great. When it comes to doing streaming, or whether you're a gaming streamer, an artist, or even just, or even if you're just sharing other passions like cooking or whatever, because Twitch has expanded so much. It has allowed you to pursue different passions and share them with the world through their digital platform. If you're going to take up streaming, the one thing I always, the one piece of advice I always hear from various people is don't do it for the numbers. Don't do it for the views. Don't do it for money. The reason that a lot of people kind of fall short on Twitch, at least in my opinion, is that they lose motivation because they see that they invest a small amount of time or for the sake of something like money, and then because they don't see it right away, they give up. The thing I'm going to say is that stuff like that will come eventually. But the thing is, I do this mostly because I want to, and I enjoy interacting with people on Twitch. I enjoy interacting with the community, with the chat, with people I see on various chat rooms. I like also sharing experiences with other people's chat rooms. Like I enjoy watching Wobbleline play games like Legend of Zelda. I enjoy watching Zyros suffer through Resident Evil 6 and other games like that. So finding like the first thing I'd say is if you're going to stream because you want to. Stream because you want to share these things. It's a mindset that makes it easier to do it every single time. To keep up the effort. Do it because there are people that you want to share this with. It's a passion or rather there's a passion that you feel the other people want to see or need to see. Like if there are people that you think that your interest is underappreciated, then share it, please, by all means. Twitch, as long as it's legal, as long as it is legal, please. Just make sure that what you're streaming is legal. And you never know. You're gonna make one or two friends at first, and eventually 2 friends turns to 5, 5 turns to 10, 10 turns into the stampede that kills Mufasa, and eventually you'll just encounter more people, and you will grow from there. And
you will be king. You'll be king of Pride Rock.
You'll be king of Twitch Rock. But it's just take your time and grow. Don't be in a rush for those numbers. Don't be in a rush for those achievements. And yes, as Wobbleline said in the Twitch chat, always remember to have fun. Because at the end of the day, if you're not having fun, then that's totally fine. Like then maybe streaming isn't it's not for everyone. I'll say that much. It's something that I encourage people to try, but if it's not for you, then that's totally fine as well. And when you actually get to streaming, when you have fun streaming, of course you want to keep doing it again. And that's why I enjoy streaming, because I have fun sharing the experiences with the people in my chat every night on my side. Well, morning for people in the US. I enjoy sharing screams for games that they themselves feel that they cannot play, but are happy to go through it with me. Like I appreciate the fact that there are people always willing to ride the waves with me in these games.
Absolutely, absolutely. Amen to that. And I would also connect it back to the, if I could, beginning when we mentioned how Twitch is a consistent platform, and really, I too have experienced some this sort of ambition to grow my followers by the hundreds, and sort of this crushing disappointment when I see that that's not immediately happening. But I have learned in my time, and I think you've shared a little bit about this as well, is that consistency, just being able to do something consistently and stay at it, and like you're saying, enjoy it, which is a great tool for being consistent, is finding enjoyment in it and finding purpose in it. Just staying at something consistently. You know, people might not visit the channel 1 week. This has happened. That happened to me numerous times on this show, and even on a previous show that I did, where it was just me talking to the camera, and I didn't have a guest to engage with me in conversation. That got rough from time to time. I would just be talking to the camera. There were some nights where I thought to myself, I'm not ashamed to admit it, I would think to myself, what am I doing? What am I doing? Am I just talking to an empty profile page? Like, what's going on here? But the only reason that I'm able to now do Drop a Line is because of just doing consistent videos and just keeping in the habit of consistently streaming and just consistently building upon something, even in small increments over time.
Exactly, and yeah, keeping yourself going is definitely a challenge. But you know, sometimes it pays off. Like you said, this thing with Drop a Line, I was actually very inspired by how you and Waba have did it the last time I watched this, and how you've grown Drop a Line in one true promotion. I would like to add just a little bit of advice as well, like because you and I have both touched on consistency and just keeping at it, the effort to put into it. At the same time, know your limits to those who are watching, because like some people will notice. People will notice when you're not at your best, and some of them might be concerned, or they're gonna notice like a shift in how you do things. So if you need to take time for yourself, please, especially now in the way that things are, never be afraid to take time for yourself. Never be afraid to call things off and say, guys, I can't do this today. I need to step off. So, you know, take care of yourselves, please. I know streaming is an amazing thing. It can lead to amazing things. It can lead to great things, but at the same time, you cannot reach those great things if you yourself are not in a great condition. So always make sure to take care of yourselves, no matter where you are, no matter who you are.
Absolutely. And I love that you're touching upon that too. And thank you, because Andrew actually left us a comment previously that said he had experienced low points in streaming, saying he hasn't streamed now since December 19th, and he's looking to make a comeback soon. And when he first told this to me in private, that was exactly what I told him. Was I just said, take time for you. And what I love upon you touching upon that, and Wobble I talking about self-care in the comment section, sometimes in private, we think, is it me? Everybody else is streaming, but I can't pull off a stream. You know, what's going on? What's wrong with me? But when we start having this conversation you and I are having right now, especially publicly, we realize this is just part of it. This happens to everybody. It's something that is required. We're all human, you know, we're all very breakable. We need time to recharge. And coming together and having these conversations is just so, it's like magic. All of a sudden we just realize, oh, this is a normal thing, you know.
Exactly. And again, it's like the one thing that's consistent is that as long as you keep at it, eventually you'll see things grow. Because the advice always comes back. It's an overused line, but it always rings true. Rome wasn't built in a day. So, and especially with streaming, this is something you really have to take your time with. It, like, have fun, make sure you are having fun, and make sure you're in a good state of mind to do so. Because if you don't, people notice, and just be yourself. Just have fun with it. People will see, hey, this guy's having fun. They're not the best gamer. They're not the most skilled gamer. God knows I have had so many fails in games, and I've had so many moments of raging. But if I learn to just have fun with it and just be myself, even if I'm being completely angry on stream because of things happening in game, people find that entertaining and people can connect to that. So just showing that side of yourself can eventually lead to growth, can lead to people finding something in common with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I could not agree with that more. And thank you for sharing that. So we've had a great conversation. We've touched upon, I think, a lot of great things for young streamers to hear, and for even streamers like the two of us to hear. And it's been a pleasure talking to you. Now, I would really love to get down to some of the nitty gritty details. So the game that you
Of course.
primarily play is Final Fantasy 14, right?
On the weekends, yes, I
On the
play
week,
other games during the rest of the week.
right? Because you're a variety streamer. I remember that. Okay. All right. So here's what I would love to know. I would love to know favorite games, favorite characters, favorite weapons, move sets, levels,
Oh,
whatever you got. I want to hear all about it. Let's get into the deets. I'm playing
okay,
some of
okay.
mine too. I've been playing games recently too. So
That's actually interesting. So for things like favorite games and favorite characters and weapons, those can shift over time because it really depends on like what I'm obsessed with at the time. Recently, I finished Devil May Cry 5, and I had a lot of fun with that. The most common comment being that I'm like a kid in a candy store with the amount of fun the game gives me. So far, my favorite character to play in that game was definitely Virgil, because who doesn't like a samurai that can just obliterate everything in like 2 seconds with a single button? And but the most fun I've had playing, like the most when it comes to skill to where I actually feel like, hey, I'm actually being awesome, would be his brother Dante, where it requires a bit more thought, a bit more creativity in how to use his moves, because there's a lot that you can do with Dante. Uh, Other favorite games I've played, Dungeons and Dragons. I've always been a tabletop fan for ever since college. When my current close circle of friends, the Easy Game, we've shared this since college, and only last year did we decide to start streaming this on Twitch. And we just like sharing it, and we don't mind if people watch or not. We just enjoy sharing our D&D sessions and having a laugh on stream, off stream, and it's one of my favorite games to play with them, aside from other tabletops that we haven't had a chance to touch on since the pandemic started. um, for solo games that I play by myself, other than Devil May Cry, I think one that really stands out would really be the it would probably be I say Tales games. It's not something actually it's not something I've played on stream that often because I already started streaming Tales games, but I used to play them a lot before I started streaming, and it's still my favorite JRPG franchise to date.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I was a big fan in my day of Telltale before they went under. I was very, very sad about that. But I was such a huge fan of Telltale games. I loved the Game of Thrones one, the Batman one. Oh, it was fantastic. Is Tales kind of like that? Am
I
I getting that right?
actually no Tales, like Telltale games. I've never actually played any of their games. They've popped up so many times on like recommendations for me. I watch a lot of top tens on YouTube and stuff to like get an idea of some games that are pretty good. And Telltale games, uh, God bless the employees of the company. It sucks, but like Telltale games, I hear a lot of good things about the games that they've made, especially with Walking Dead.
Yeah,
I've never had a chance to play it myself though. But for Tales is more of an action-oriented Japanese role-playing game. You control a bunch of people in an arena, like in various fights. You go through a story, but like whenever it's fighting, it's not turn-based. It's all real-time reactions and action fighting. You have to think like, okay, when do I start doing this? When do I start doing that? What's good for this character's playstyle, and so on and so forth. And the good thing about Tales games, in my opinion, is that because it's so free flowing, they've created characters per game that can cater to almost anyone's playstyle. So if you don't like one character, you can switch to another. It does suck when the story splits them up and you're forced to play as someone else, but they try their best to make the game enjoyable. That no matter who is on screen, you're having a fun time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Those are the best kinds of games. I've recently been on a Final Fantasy kick, and I've been going retro. I went back to Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8, played them straight through from December to now, and That was really interesting, actually. I'm a solo gamer, of course. I don't have a channel of my own, but you know, I've for the past several years, I've been very enraptured with these advancements in technology and these cinematic experiences we've been having with video games. I could
Oh
list
yes.
some of the ones I love, but it's amazing because recently I've been playing just a couple of these classics, you know, Final Fantasy 7 and 8, and they hold up. I was like, I am just hooked into these routines of exploring, battling, grinding, level up, all that stuff. Like I am just, you know, they got my attention completely. It was pretty interesting that they still hold up so well in this modern era. I discovered.
Yes, JRPG is actually, and I've heard about this on there's a YouTube channel I follow that has mentioned this. It's amazing how games nowadays are now appreciated to some people as a form of art because it's not just simple gameplay. It's not simple entertainment anymore. Sure, there's still games like that when you want your kicks. It's pretty simple. But the fact that games nowadays can include story, can include communities, it makes them so much better. And Final Fantasy definitely has that in spades. Final Fantasy 7 and 8. I've seen other people play it because I haven't played it myself. But as someone who's played 14 all the way until from beginning to end in the story, it is an amazing journey to ride. And actually, I even invite that, like you said so yourself. You've been binging Final Fantasy games. You've gone back to the classics, but you know, I'm sure Wobbleine's also extending the same invite. If you want to, like 14 is also a pretty good game to pick up because the story itself is great. It drags a bit, but they've tried to fix that in recent years. But definitely with the latest chapters, the latest expansions, it's gotten better and better. And it's actually just gotten us all hyped for the newest expansion coming later this year.
That's awesome. So while the series kind of keeps running past that with 15, 16, and the 7 remake now, 14 has been continually built upon up till now. I didn't actually know that.
Yes, Waba says so. So I can't wait for the expansion. Hype, hype. Yeah, like 14 because it's an online RPG. Of course, like Square Enix is, and see, of course, Square Enix can see this game is very good for a lot of people, and so of course they're not going to let go of that anytime soon. Even Yoshi P, Naoki Yoshida, who is the director for Final Fantasy 16, by the way, and is currently the producer of Final Fantasy 14. He himself has said so that he was not going to let go of 14 anytime soon. He's going to be doing this for a really long time. So that's good news for a lot of people who play 14. And even though they're going to keep coming up with Final Fantasy games, like standalone Final Fantasy games, for something long running like 14 to continue running, and they've expressed that even though the next expansion is the end of a long running arc, they're going to keep making the game well beyond that. And it just makes players like myself more excited. It's like, what more can you add to this amazing world? How much more can you make this explode? More than than literally blowing up the in-game world at the start of the game.
That's amazing. That's truly amazing. That definitely encourages me to hop on board and see what that's all about for sure. Right now I'm playing through 9 and then 10, so maybe I'll go ahead and look into 14 after that. But that's totally awesome. Any others you want to mention before we start to wrap up the show? Usually we go about 45 minutes. Is there anything you want to share with the audience or want to get off your chest?
Well, I would say that I would definitely say that for 14, well, just to go back to 14 for a quick bit, you should pick it up. And I recommend a lot of people to pick it up now because there's a lot of time too. And the fact that it's free. Like the first 60 levels and the first expansion they've changed it so now it's free. You have a lot to go through to experience the game. You're not sure about it because it is a subscription based game. I'll say that that's a bit of a downer, but if you're not sure about buying the game yet, then they give you more than enough stuff to play through to experience it for free. And it's an amazing game. The fact that they've included one of the best expansions and one of the best story chapters in the game is amazing. Other games that I feel are also pretty fun to pick up would be, well, if you're into shooters, Destiny 2. I recently picked it up. and just it's very entertaining, it's very challenging, but at the same time, it gives you that rush, and I love playing games that give you that bit of a rush.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. This has been an awesome conversation. We are around the time we usually wrap up the show. Thank you, everybody who has been watching this evening, and thank you for everybody who has been commenting and questioning. Kaz, how can we support you? Where can we? How can we support you, and where can we support you?
Well, you can follow me over on Twitch using the link down in the banner below, twitch.tv/Kazuo93. You can follow me there for more variety streams, and also you can hear Wobbeline's voice every weekend when he tries to kill me with something or when I try to kill him, and back and forth. You can follow me on Twitter, same username, Kazuo93, to keep up with a lot of the passions that I'm doing. Like I said, I've recently taken up art, I've taken up writing again. And also, you can connect with a bunch of other amazing people that have contributed to my channel, such as Shadadi, Sena Yuki, Salty Cynthia. There's also Iggy Solitude, like a lot of great people that I highly recommend. And all of them, I spend most of my time, actually, most of my social media presence on Twitter and on Twitch. I've only recently gotten onto Instagram, so that's kind of empty, but I'm going to slowly try to build it up over time. As for support, like just being there is already more than I can ask for. If you subscribe, whether you subscribe or not, it's great. There's one thing, if you don't mind, I'd like to share about something I'm doing until the end of the month on my channel. Is that okay?
Absolutely, please do.
Okay, well, on my Twitch channel, I do have a PayPal donation link. Normally, I leave that open more to direct towards upgrading my PC or getting better equipment for home. But currently, one of the biggest contributors to my channel, 13, who recently his laptop broke down after so many years, and so he's lost his livelihood. He cannot do artwork commissions. He cannot stream, and so I have changed the purpose of my PayPal donation link that 100% of donations I receive this month via PayPal will be directly donated to him to help him get a new laptop or to help him get in the right like a step in the right direction of getting a new laptop, because he's one of my best friends. I love this guy, and it sucks that this had to happen to him now when he's already decided to open up more to sharing his artwork online, and people love his art, and it sucked that this happened to him. So that's why I've changed it, that until the end of February, any donations, like I'm not asking people, like I'm not requiring people to donate. Like, even just spreading the word is fine. But if people do donate to my PayPal link, 100% of what I receive for this month of February will be donated directly to 13 to get him a new laptop, just so that he can get back on his feet, get back to work, doing what he loves, which is doing art and streaming. He's recently got into streaming, and as soon as he got on it, it just abruptly ends because of this, and it sucks.
It does. It does. Well, I agree with Wobbline. That is admirable, and we will certainly love to spread the word and see if we can get people to send in as many donations as possible. So please keep us in the loop about that, and we would be happy to help out and direct traffic to your channel for the duration of February. Please support the arts, everybody. Please support. A lot of people in the arts, they require technology. Sometimes technology busts up and you can't use it anymore, and then you have to spend money to get your business going. So please do, come together and send in some donations, please, and definitely give Kaz's channel a look through. And that is our show for this evening. Kaz, thank you so much for being here tonight. Do you have something else to respond to?
One last thing would be, I guess, like I forgot to share this as well. I do also do like another additional form of support, completely optional because it's very subjective. I've recently opened up emote commissions on my Twitter, so just to share these in the Twitch chat. Those two emotes I did myself, and I also have other examples pinned on my Twitter page. If you guys are interested, please feel free to also drop a line to me either on Twitter or on Discord to discuss prices and things like that. I'm still starting out, so I would still like to have the opportunity to contribute to other people's channels and to grow out and to develop my art skills. And this is one way I'd like to do that, while also kind of, I guess, earning a little money. But I would like to
Mhm.
share my art more in that regard. I like doing emotes, and some people are happy with the ones I've made. So you can find more of that over on my Twitter page.
Amazing, amazing. And what is your Twitter handle, friend?
My Twitter handle, same as Twitch, is Kazuo93. So just follow me, twitter.com/Kazuo93. You can keep up with a lot of stuff I do there. I will give the warning ahead of time, and I say this like every week to the people who follow me. I follow a lot of not safe for work accounts, so if please make sure to turn on the filter if you don't want to see those, because
Mhm.
I don't have a spare account. I'm pretty open about what I like on my main account, and a lot of the NSW stuff I follow is mostly artists. I like the artwork that they do. They do safer work and NSFW work, and it's it mixes in. So again, giving that warning ahead of time, you might see that on my channel. But please, by all means, that is not the only thing I follow on my Twitter.
Of course, and of course not. We understand that. And that is our show, everybody. Thank you for being here. Kaz, thank you so much for being here. We would love to have you on the show again. You can schedule anytime, and we would love to continue supporting you, and I hope to view your channel very soon. Thank you for stopping by, and you have a great day, sir.
It was great to be here, Alec, and thank you for the opportunity. I hope you have a great day as well.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And that is our show, everybody. Join us next week. We will see you on the flip side. Take care, Kaz.